Well, good afternoon and welcome to GPA Live. I'm your host, Ron Aaron Eisenberg. Delighted to be here with you. We come to you every Saturday at noon and we deal with topics that relate to those who are battling chronic pain. We talk about alternative treatments, we talk about ways in which to manage chronic pain, and today we have a wonderful topic. GPA Live, by the way, is a virtual education series brought to you by the Global Pain Association. Today's topic, losing weight while you're battling chronic pain. Sounds very, very tough, but it can be done. And you see our presenter, Dr. Marianne Pinkston with Pinkston Medical and Wellness. She is a pain warrior, struggles with rheumatoid arthritis, and a facilitator for our new GPA Warrior Support Group. And in that photo, you saw the before and after where she was able to take the weight off. Now, before we welcome Dr. Pinkston, we want to bring back to our GPA Live microphones Dr. Susan Blackwood, president of the Global Pain Association. She has been away for a couple of weeks. She and her team have brought us the women's final 800, or how many other teams were here. They're now that. And Susan, it's great to see you. Thanks.
Well, Ron, I'm glad to be back. We loved having 64 teams in San Antonio, but we're happy to be down to the final two. And I've really missed being on the GPA Live broadcast each week. I've gotten caught up now, and I wouldn't have missed today's topic because it's sensational, and so is Dr. Pinkston. So thank you for having me back. Thank you again for producing this, and to your lovely bride for being the person that makes all the bells and whistles go every Saturday morning.
And that would be Gina Galaviz Eisenberg. Dr. Blackwood, tell me, what was your concept when you created GPA Live?
Well, Ron, we wanted to have an organization in this community, and now it's national, that would help people manage their pain and find alternative ways to manage their pain, and have a community that would support them in their efforts. So we brought topic after topic forward to really help people understand some other opportunities and challenges that are out there in terms of managing their pain. It's been sensational. The caregivers have loved it. We've got a great following. Since I've been gone a couple of weeks managing basketball teams, I think we're probably way over 65,000 people that we've reached through the series that we started in May. And of course, we like to get back together and have another session in person, and hopefully someday that'll happen.
Now, the GPA Warriors Support Group is something that you have launched as well. Tell us about that.
Well, we sincerely, for years now, a couple, have wanted to have ways in which people could have a network, have somebody that they could talk to, that they could have support from. And we had a very, very lovely board member that we lost on November 24th with COVID. And Rebecca Christopherson wanted for months to start the support group and be the person that would help moderate it. And in her honor, we kicked this off at the beginning of the year, and thanks to Dr. Pinkston, it's been very popular. Again, because of basketball, I missed a couple of weeks, but I've really enjoyed listening to people talk and have their concerns voiced, and to have Dr. Pinkston as such an expert to help them deal with their emotions.
And the support group meets the first and third Tuesdays of every month from 7 to 8 p.m. via Zoom.
That's true, and thank you to the people that are helping us put that together from the, help me remember, I'm still minding my basketball virtual thing, but we've been very successful in a couple of months, and we're inviting people to come each month session.
Well, Susan, we'll pick you up toward the end of this program. Stay tuned. We're going to bring you some incredible information on how to lose weight while battling chronic pain. Dr. Susan Blackwood, thank you. We'll talk to you soon. I want to introduce Dr. Marianne Pinkston. She is the owner of Pinkston Medical and Wellness Clinic. Dr. Pinkston is board certified in family practice and integrative medicine specialist. She's a board member of GPA, the Global Pain Association. She herself is a chronic pain warrior battling rheumatoid arthritis. She's a facilitator of the new GPA Warrior Support Group. and a specialist in hormone replacement therapy. She also runs a weight loss program, which she directs. She herself lost 162 pounds while battling chronic pain. Dr. Pinkston, great to see you.
Thank you.
I'm
Boy, I
looking at
love
your
that picture.
picture.
That's a picture,
Was
isn't it?
that where you were the heaviest?
That is my 300 pounds. It's hard to look at, it's hard to imagine that I was in that body trapped. And I was, and I tell you what, that little girl right there was in a lot of pain and having a lot of trouble getting out of bed and going to work and all the things that patients tell me all day long, every day. It's incredible.
Now, you didn't gain that weight overnight.
No.
How did you add it on? What were you doing that led to that incredible weight gain?
I think it's like, anyone, chronic pain or not, honestly, it's something that does not happen overnight. And a lot of patients will ask me if it was because of my pregnancies. A lot of patients will gain weight with pregnancy. And I'll tell them, no, I was great during my pregnancies. I only gained like 20 pounds each pregnancy. It was in between. It's all the hours of working and stress. But I also suffered from an eating disorder. And it's binge eating syndrome. And I would wait till everybody would go to bed at night, and to deal with my stress, I would pull out my little box under my bed or in the back of the pantry that I had hidden, and I would just cram down the calories at night, sometimes up to 3,000 calories at night. It's insanity, and you don't realize you're doing it. That's how you deal with your stress. I also had a lot of steroid medications that I had to take because of the arthritis. And that, will make you gain weight. And so being very inactive in bed, it was all fat and it was no muscle. And it's just a freight train. It took me about 10 years to put that amount on. It was incredible.
We'll talk more about that.
Sure.
She's Dr. Marianne Pinkston. I'm Ron Aaron Eisenberg. For those of you who are joining us in the chat room, please share this program. You can click share on the Global Pain Association Facebook page. Thank you to Patty Larson, who has shared it, and we encourage the rest of you to do so. And if you've got a comment or a question you want to put in the public chat room, we keep checking it out. So we'll keep up with that as well. Now, Dr. Pinkston, weight loss and chronic pain, most people would think you cannot lose weight while you're battling chronic pain.
Right. And this is so important. That's why I put this in the title. And this is what I want to keep hitting on as we talk today is, yes, you can. I think many times patients, when they are in an incredible amount of pain and fatigue, that is something that also comes with the disease, is the fatigue. It's like, well, I would get up and go work out, but I just don't feel like it. I don't feel well. And that's something I had to battle incredibly. So the answer is yes, you can. And the more you do it, the better you feel, the more successful you will be. I think it's a matter of getting started is the biggest problem.
Now you've got a timeline here to share with us
Right.
of
So
your
this is
story.
Exactly. It's my story. And I'll tell you, I think it was a story that many patients can have. I went to bed one night after delivering my third child. I went to bed one night, and that was on January 19th, 2007. On January 20th, I woke up with rheumatoid arthritis. It was just that day and night. I went to several doctors and primary care physicians and specialists trying to find out what was wrong. All of my labs were normal. Of course, I looked normal at the time. And it was, I think patients run into that a lot. They'll go asking for help, and doctors look at their labs. They look at them, they're like, well, you're normal. I just don't see anything. I'm sorry. And, patients like, I know something's wrong, and there's got to be something. So it was finally found about 4 years later. I had a positive lab and went to go see my favorite doctor in the entire world, who is also a board member of GPA, Dr. Pendleton Wickersham, my rheumatologist. And he finally got me on a trek to try to improve. I was on a lot of medications. I had to take a lot of steroid medications just to control inflammation and to help me feel better and get some energy. But that 2011 to 2016 is where it happened. It just kept coming on and kept coming on. And, I had to take a lot of stock and a responsibility for that. Facing it in 2016 is when I finally was able to admit I had a problem. And in 2017, between 2016 and 17, Dr. Wickersham and I sat and talked about, I had tried to lose a lot of weight. And I think a lot of patients run into this too. They'll try. So they'll lose 20 pounds, then turn around and gain 30. They'll lose 40, turn around and gain 50. And so it just keeps going up, and you're like, you just can't get past this little set point that your body takes on when you're inflamed and sick. So he discussed with me doing gastric sleeve surgery, which is a gastric surgery, bariatric surgery, where weight loss surgery. And it's a conundrum because there's a huge stigma against it. A lot of people think, hey, that's the easy way out. You just get a surgery and you're done. And people don't realize that it's actually harder. It's forced behavioral modification. So I cannot eat like I want to anymore. And I can't get into those bad behaviors. And what people need to understand is it's a tool. It does not cure everything. It does not cure bad behavior. It does not cure weight problems in general, but it does a lot to cure inflammation. And it helped me move my set point. So it guarantees about 60 to 80 pound weight loss if you really put your heart into it. I did, but I had 162 to lose. So there was much, much more work to go with that. And it was just a tool that I used initially. And we thought that by doing that, my rheumatoid arthritis would go away. If I ate perfect, lost all that weight, and boy, it didn't. And it's actually been worse, but that's okay because I'm in much better shape. My brain is in better shape. My eating's in better shape, and all of the things that food does to, and lack of exercise does to kill you, literally kill you day by day, is not a factor anymore. So the rheumatoid arthritis has a life. It hurts, it bothers me, but it doesn't control me any longer.
Now, for those who don't know, what are the effects of rheumatoid arthritis? What's it doing to your body?
It's an inflammatory disorder that is centered around inflammation in the joints. And it's a bit of a mystery at times. There's no genetic history in my family that I know of. I think this was brought on by stress and factors that just changed the underlying chemistry of my body and turned on an inflammatory pathway that I just cannot turn off. What it does is it's very debilitating in my joints. My left ankle is almost fused. My thumbs are almost fused. I have a very limited amount of range of motion in many of my joints. I hurt, all the way into my jaws, eating sometimes, or my neck and sleeping. It's very debilitating. But what comes with it too, in the inflammation, is an incredible amount of fatigue, inability to think. I have a lot of brain fog. It's just, it affects every part of your life. I also have autoimmune hepatitis, I think brought on by that, and a heart condition as well. But these are things that are insanely better because I eat right and I exercise. I really have overcome this disease to a point where I'm in control now. It just hurts all the time.
Now, you have been able to keep the weight off.
Yes.
What do you do and who do you talk to if you begin to gain the weight back?
So what people, I think, well, I'll just eat right and exercise and I'll lose the weight. And then they don't think about what happens after that. The point is, you have to keep exercising. You have to keep eating right. But a term that I've come up with is tool cycling. And what you do is you find the tools that work for you in the right moment. So I have so many different things that I do. Sometimes there's, medication involved. Sometimes it was the surgery. Sometimes it is, eating a certain diet or exercising a certain way. And there's so many different tools. There's hundreds of them, but I don't just do one thing and stick with that. I do one thing, and when it seems the body gets used to it and it seems to kind of quit working, I'll flip and I'll do a new tool, or I'll do multiple tools. But I just keep cycling through those tools and using them to keep the weight off. And something that people need to know is that I have a 5 pound, change where if I get off the, curve a little bit, get off the track, I'll start to gain that 5 pounds. So once I see that 5 pound mark, that's it. I cut it off. The tools go back into place. I get back on it and I'll drop that back off. And I just go kind of back and forth like that. But you always have to be in a weight loss frame of mind the rest of your life. It never goes away. Weight will, in fact, if I eat wrong a week and I've already got a little belly back and I just have to get back on it and work very, very hard. It's a life challenge. It's a lifestyle. It's not a diet.
You weigh yourself every day.
I don't really. I think weighing yourself every day is a bit frustrating because you will have water weight changes. So your body water weight can go up 3 to 5 pounds sometimes. And so what I'll notice is that I'll gain a couple of pounds as I work out, and my muscles are changing, a little bit inflamed and rearranging, and I gain a little bit of muscle mass. And then all of a sudden I'll drop and I'll go another pound down as I'm trying to lose weight. So patients will see that and they think, oh no, I gained 3 pounds today. And I tell them, it depends on what you ate the 2 days before. If you went out and had some gluten or ate a lot of carbs, well, yeah, you're going to carry a lot more water. Yeah, you're going to weigh 2 more pounds the next day. Just eat right, behave, and then wait a couple of days and you'll watch. It'll drop again. And so I try not to get into that daily, thing where it works on my psyche if I do that. I just wait maybe once a week. That's all you need to do.
Congratulations. Linka in our chat room says that she lost 140 pounds. That's
She
pretty
sure
cool.
did.
Congrats, Linka.
Absolutely. She's one of my great friends, and
good.
she did it very great lady. She did a great job.
Now talk to us about how you found the way.
So in finding the way, and I see that there's a question from Miss Patty down here about how you overcome the I'm in pain and fatigued and exercise hurts. And I really want to address that. And I want to get back to my slides, but that question right there is extremely important. It is the heart of this whole talk, because every day I wake up and I'm in pain and I don't want to get up and go. I'll snooze and snooze and snooze. That is the heart of what gets people. What people need to know is that really, if you just have that moment where you force yourself up, within 5 or 10 minutes, I'm awake and good to go. I'll go and I'll get it done. When I first start to work out, my joints are stiff. I'm hurting and it is very painful. I have an incredible amount of pain in my hands, but I lift weights and I do it. What you're doing is mobilizing that fluid that's like glue inside your joints, and you're mobilizing all the good inflammatory factors and hormones and things. You're jump starting, and it pushes that out of your joints and out of your muscles. And within a couple of minutes, I feel like a normal person. I feel better when I get up and I do it. It's something that you just have to experience a couple of times. And once you understand what you're doing to help yourself, you will get through that. Once you understand that, you can hang on to it. It'll help you every single time. You'll be okay. And it works.
Now let's look at that slide and talk a little bit about asking for help. Is that the beginning part?
It is. So I know a lot of patients will tell me, well, I went to my, doctor and all he did was say, she will say, well, your labs are all abnormal. You need to eat right and lose weight. And then they leave and like, well, I know, but how? And so I think a lot of patients go to, the internet and to books and their friends and these clinics, weight loss clinics and places that take it, full advantage of you. And you need to ask for the right help. You need experts. There are so many things on, the internet that they're just really trying to get your money. It's not about making you a better person and helping your health and giving you the right information. It really is about the dollar and the bottom line. So you have to ignore that and you have to go ask for help. And it's hard to sit in front of somebody and say, I eat 3,000 calories at night and I, do this to myself. I'm a grown woman. I'm a professional. Why, it's hard to admit those things. You have to go ask for help and you have to ask the right people and where you can get the right resources, not just somebody who knows you need to lose weight, but how do you lose weight? And
that leads to the question, how do you find a weight loss doctor who is credible, competent, and can help you?
Absolutely. So, and it's not just weight loss doctor either. There are some trainers. Sonia Jackson, who you'll see next week, was somebody who was very, very wonderful in the last 2 years at helping me gain past that. So there's trainers, there's nutritionists, but I think you go back to something my dad always taught me, and that's like, if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. So you trust your gut, and when you're sitting in front of somebody, really, I think most people do, when they're sitting in front of somebody who is an expert and knows what they're talking about. And so you just, sometimes it's like having a boyfriend, I guess. If you're dating this person, the chemistry's not there and you just don't feel it. Well, you break up with that, you go on to the next person. It's really about understanding your gut and your needs and what you need to get from them.
So once you start on that path, you got the resources, the experts. You mentioned tools. How do you know what your tools are?
And that's where the experts come in first to introduce you to the tools. Once you know what works for you, then you will know and you learn your body. This is very much about understanding what your body wants and needs, because every person is different. And I can't just hand you an eat right, exercise right handout and say, that's it, that's the plan. We have to get to know your body. Sometimes there's the thyroid condition. Sometimes it is cortisol. So cortisol, and I've talked about before, is the evil of the universe. Cortisol is stress hormone. It's made by your adrenal gland on top of your kidney, and it's in response to just chronic everyday stress, which is work and kids and traffic and financial problems. But it can also be good stress, so weddings and buying a new house, and all of the good stress is still stress. It's just all of those things build up. So you have to look at your laboratory, and you have to look at your nutritional status, your hormone status, such as testosterone, which is, I think, one of the most important things, right up there with cortisol. So, we have to just learn you, and I have to teach you to listen to your body. Once you know how this tool helps and affects you, you'll know when to insert it into what you're doing when something else isn't working. Listen to your body's needs.
So when I start this program, I can go ahead and order smaller clothes because I'm going to knock it out in just a couple months.
It's absolutely right. And that's believe it or not, that was my thinking. And I had a trainer, Sandy Townsend, who worked with me before Sonia, who helped me with my eating disorder and all up in Colorado. And she said, Marianne, you keep referencing like this 6-month mark, like you're going to, work hard and it's all going to be gone in 6 months and then you're going to be fine. And she said, this is going, and this just froze me right in the spot. She said, this is going to take you 2 years. And what you need to understand, Marianne, is that 2 years is going to pass anyway. So if you want to wait another year or two, well, then it's going to take you 4. If you want to wait another year or two, it's going to take you 6. And that really hit home with me. I thought, no, I don't want it to be 4 to 6 from now. I want it to be 2 years from now. If that's the way it's going to be. And it took me a year and 2 months to actually get the full 162 off, but it's taken me more time to get my body to recover, to work on the muscles, to, build up habits and things. So she was right. It took that amount of time. You can't just change this overnight. There's no way.
And do you feel better?
Absolutely. So here I am, knee deep in rheumatoid arthritis. Dr. Wickersham says that I could probably get disability and things like that very, very easily, just based on the damage in my body and things like that. But you know what? That is not what controls my world. I get up at 5:30 and I go work out, poor Sonia, and I do it 5 days a week. And I have turned, a lot of the times when I would be very stressed, I would eat carbohydrates and it would make me feel better. There's a dopamine surge and a reward center that builds up, just like alcohol, just like drugs, just like gambling or anything else. And eating is an addiction like that. So, you get that surge and you feel so much better. But now I've turned it to where exercise does that for me. Or if I look back and I say, I ate perfect today, that gives me more power. My body is so much better. The arthritis is still there. Yes, I still hurt, but my joints are better. My body is better. I feel better. It has changed my world and my life. I will never go backwards ever again.
And you write on the slide, you're the problem, not your disease.
Absolutely. So no, you may not cure it. No, you're not, you cannot succumb. If you're going to lay there in bed and you're going to constantly say to yourself, well, it just hurts too much, I just can't. You're going to die and you're going to take your disease with you and it's going to magnify and it will get you. You will succumb. You can't do that. It is you. You've got to take that 5 to 10 minutes in the morning to get over it and get up. And I hate to say things like that because that get over it is what really bothers people. But No, it's not a matter of just getting over it. It's a matter of just pulling yourself up from your bootstraps and forcing yourself forward, because you really will be better for it and your body will be better for it. And you do have limitations. That is completely understandable. Work around them. You can find a way around them. Be resourceful. It is you. It's in your head there to keep yourself in bed and keep yourself feeling badly.
And one thing you note is if you get on this program, if you stick with it, you're going to take years off your life.
Yes. So if you
So you'll
do
live
that,
longer.
yeah, you're going to live longer. So what you don't realize is when you're not working out and not eating right, you feel like you're doing okay day to day, a year or two passes. What you don't know is that every day that you live like that, you're taking another year off your life in longevity or in
Wow.
quality. So you can lose 10 to 15 to 20 years off your life doing what you're doing now. You've got to, you can't do that. And especially there are a lot of people who will live a long time, but what is their quality? I don't want to live forever either. I don't want to get incredibly old and independent, but if I'm going to live to be 80, I can live to be 80 and still kick my heels up when I'm 80, or I can spend from the, 65 or 70 in bed and die really hard,
Which you don't want to do.
which I will not do.
And I want to jump to the end of this slide. Sabotage from friends
Yes.
and family. What does
So
that mean?
sabotage is a very underrated thing. So you know that your family loves you, you know that your friends love you, you know that they're in your corner and they want you to do this, but sometimes it's a very subtle thing that you'll be at a restaurant and you're trying to be good and you're trying to order that salad with your dressing on the side, and they'll say, well, just, you just have this piece of cake. You've been doing so good all week. Just have this piece of cake. And they don't realize that that piece of cake is going to mean a week of extra water and extra inflammation on you. And you will not lose a pound or two this week because you did that. And so, but they're like, you're doing fine. You're doing fine. And I think sometimes people are afraid you'll change, or afraid that, if you're not drinking and eating with them and you're not quite as social with them, that they're losing their grip and their relationship with you and all. And I think that it's not that they're trying to do anything on purpose, but you really have to get good at looking at your family and say, hey, no, you're not going to pull me away from this. I'm doing this and I need your support. I need you to not throw those teasers underneath me, because it sabotages me and I'm really trying to get something accomplished.
What else you want to throw in here?
So back on the previous slide, just really quickly, I mentioned something about functional fitness. So functional
You want to
fitness.
go back one slide.
You don't have to move back. It's okay, Gina, you can keep it there. But I just mentioned functional fitness. So what functional fitness is, so, okay, you can't, people can't always, lose 160 and then go and get a bunch of surgery and fix skin and then go on to do fitness competitions and build all these muscles. Okay, that's not something you have to do. Please understand, this is not about, accomplishing something like that. That's just what I wanted to do. Functional fitness is about, can you get up and lift a bag of dog food and feed your animals? Can you do a little bit of yard work? Can you get yourself safely in and out of the shower without losing your breath or running the risk of falling? You need to have your body back, because if you can do those things, then you will do more and more, and you'll feel better, and keep your independence and keep your self-esteem. Functional fitness is about doing this so that you live longer and feel better, yes, but it's also about just being able to keep your independence and get things done. So that was that
Now,
name.
talk to me about keto, because I've got a lot of friends
Oh yeah.
who swear by it. You
Yeah.
need keto. You need to get on keto.
Yeah, so this is one of my things that really I try to talk with patients, because I'm like you, Ron, and I hear that from almost every patient. Well, I'm doing the keto diet. So the keto diet, what most people mean by keto is that they're dropping their carbohydrates off, or going really, really low carb. What the true keto diet is a very high fat, mediocre protein, and very low carbohydrate plan. Patients will lose like 15 pounds in a month, and that's a great jump start, and it sounds wonderful. But what people are doing most of the time is dropping off too much muscle, and they're not losing fat, they're losing muscle and water, and say bye-bye to your metabolism. When you lose muscle, you do not metabolize fat any longer. There will be a point where you won't lose quickly any longer. And then, because nobody can do keto forever, they'll start eating again. They'll gain all that weight back, and it will be in fat and water. It will not be in muscle. Their metabolism is a lot slower. And then we just have to turn around and get it all back off, but do it the right way. And it'll take us longer to do it. So the best way to approach it is the lower carbohydrate is okay, but it's really about what kind of carbohydrate are you eating, not how much of it necessarily. I tell patients that high protein is where I like for them to go if your kidneys are okay. I mean, always check with your doctor on these things, but higher protein. So 40, 40, 20, and that's 40% protein, 40% fat, 20% carbohydrate, and what type of carbohydrate and the timing of your carbohydrate. And I teach them all this because we want to maintain and build muscle and actually lose fat and build up your metabolism. And by the way, this is the greatest anti-aging trick that there is out there. So no, keto is not the best way to go.
And when you look at the concept of weight versus cardio when you work out, do you need one or the other or both?
Well, you need both in general, but I can tell you that I used to get on the treadmill for an hour a day, 6 times a week, and I hated it, every single second of it. And what you're doing there is also dropping off your muscle mass, but your cardiovascular exercise is great for your cardiovascular system, but it's not really a great weight loss tool. So what I flipped and started doing and learned is that if I will do weights and resistance training, and so one day I do back and chest, the next day I do legs, the next day I do arms, so on and so forth, and rotated around, I was able to get on the treadmill after I worked out, after doing it for a couple months, and I could run miles on the treadmill. I'm in great shape, but cardio is not my focus. Cardio is, in my mind, best place after you do a weight training program, get your muscle mass up, and then you can do some cardio. But what you need to do is time it well and get your heart rate set, do high intensity interval training. These are the things that I go over when I talk with people to try to teach them so that you can kind of design your weight loss and make your body work a little more efficiently and use it in the right way. It's a tool. So
Running a little short on time, but it's important to talk about weight loss meds because a whole lot of folks think phentermine or HCG or other meds are the answer.
Yeah, so they're not. First of all, HCG is no longer available. It's a very old concept and diet, and the FDA has now determined that even though there was incredible amounts of safety data behind it, that it's not safe. So it's not available anymore. If clinics are doing it, they're doing it illegally. The phentermine. So phentermine is what everybody wants. It's an appetite suppressant. And it makes you feel good and have energy, but the effects are really only about 8 weeks or so. It wears off.
Is it like speed?
It is. It's an amphetamine. So what it does is it rubs up your endocrine system in adrenaline. So I feel like it elevates people's stress hormone too much. And again, you get into that not losing fat mode. You actually, I think, lose muscle, and the effects wear off anyway. But if you drop your calories too much, then you are going to lose muscle and not fat again. And there's a lot of reasons not to do things like that. Besides that, it has an addictive potential, very low, but it can elevate blood pressure and some other things. It's just really not a good tool. There's more ways to do it.
Now run through some of these supplements.
Sure. So I'll be pretty brief about them. There's a lot of information you can find, but I really try to work on people's stress hormone or cortisol issues. Again, cortisol and stress hormone is the thing that puts the belly fat on. So when you want to get rid of that tummy out front, it's cortisol driven. So you have to work with some adrenal formulations. And let me say really quickly to you that with the vitamin industry and supplement industry, they are also not regulated. So they can put anything in a capsule and put anything on a label and sell you anything. You need to have a good source for medical grade vitamins and quit buying the stuff off of Amazon, the internet. There are good things out there, but you just got to know what you're doing. So adrenal formulations, I use a lot in my clinic. Chromium, I use a lot with my diabetics or patients who have a little bit of glucose type metabolism problems. It's a good appetite suppressant, helps to stabilize your blood sugars. Sleep is incredibly important to losing weight. And if you're not sleeping, you're not repairing your body, you're not repairing your own cortisol system. So I use a little melatonin, L-theanine, and 5-HTP as a combination for sleep. L-tryptophan is making a big spin on TikTok and things like that with the youth, because we can't get, people can't get phentermine and Adderall and things like that to lose weight anymore. So L-tryptophan is something that high dose can stand in its place, but please understand anything that you take needs to be in moderation and through your physician. So be careful with that. Green tea extract is beautiful. It's an anti-cancer. It helps with inflammation. You also burn fat for energy, so it energizes. Caffeine is also very helpful, and just be cautious with your blood pressure, but not to get too much, and certainly it'll keep you from sleeping at night. So be cautious there. But that's what goes into a lot of pre and post workout blends. You also need to be a little bit medical grade about that as well. There's a lot of things in there, like the L-carnitine I mentioned, that helps people to build muscle. Timing it around your workouts helps you build muscle better. And then the branched chain aminos and glutamine help resolve bad inflammation, help your gut work a little better, help you lose weight in the long run. And it's important timed around your workouts as well.
Okay, now, before we say goodbye, do me a favor for those who are listening, who are wondering, so how does this work? What's the process when we work with a physician like yourself on a weight loss program?
So I love for patients to come get a good set of lab, but a good set of lab that I draw, because not every physician checks thyroid and hormones and cortisols and things like that like I do. So that you got to get a very specific set. There's a consultation, got to get to know you, got to know what your habits are, got to know what your problems are, what your wins and your losses are, and what your goals are and things like that. And then we build a program and we talk about the different tools, find out what matches your life, what medical things that you need, what non-medical, related, what we can do in the vitamin supplement department. And we measure and weigh, and then we follow up. I look over journals. I try to teach. Every time I try to teach more and more and more. And that's it's not hard. It's just a dedication. You've got to put your consistency and your dedication, your heart into it and around it.
Now, what haven't I asked you that you want to throw in here at the end?
I don't know. You did great, Ron. So
well, you did great.
Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. And if folks want to talk with you, there's no obligation if they give you a call.
No, I have had for the hormones, whatnot, free consultations of all, available in that way. I do take many insurances. And so I'm available for people if they want. It's not about a big, I do have a weight loss program that's private pay and whatnot. I try to just gear people to where we can meet their needs financially, but also meet their needs health-wise.
So give her a call, Pinkston Medical and Wellness Clinic, Dr. Marianne Pinkston. Marianne, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for this
appreciate you coming on.
You and Gina. Thank you so much.
Thanks. We're going to welcome Dr. Susan Blackwood back to our microphone here on GPA Live. Dr. Pinkston was great. Dr. Blackwood is great, and she is here to talk about GPA. So do you need help?
First, I have to get off the scale because that was such a motivational speech, that presentation. And we want to thank Marianne for doing that and for all that she does for Global Pain Association. She's one of the most active board members. We're all volunteers and we need more volunteers. We also need donations. People can get on our website at globalpain.org and see how they can participate. And no donations too small. We love them all, and we love the time and effort that our board members and other volunteers have put in. And we want to thank the folks at Connectability for hosting our support group the first and third Tuesdays of the month at 7 o'clock. And again, to Dr. Pinkston for being such a leader in that role. And Ron, I've got a surprise. Our friends at HEB, one of our sponsors,
cool,
have given us gift cards. And for the first 3 people that private messages us and send us their name and address so we can mail them the gift card, they can go out and get some of that great food that Dr. Pinkston was talking about.
That's cool. Well, that's neat. Well, thank you. And Dr. Blackwood, great to have you back on the program.
Well, we've got one more day of games, but I do want to miss today. So thank you so much for having me back.
Well, thank you very much. And thanks for all the work you do, not only for Global Pain, but for the city of San Antonio. Dr. Susan Blackwood, and the light never goes out in her house, working 24/7. Well, thank you all. Thank you, Dr. Pinkston. Next Saturday, April 10th at noon, right here on GPA Live, we're going to do a live cooking. Live beats the alternative. A live cooking demonstration with healthy desserts, and nutritionist Sonia Jackson will be with us. If you have a question you want to put to her, just email us at info@globalpain.org. Thank you to the Global Pain Association Board of Directors. I'm Ron Aaron Eisenberg. Thank you to our executive producer who makes this all happen, Gina Galaviz Eisenberg, also happens to be my bride. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next week on GPA Live.